What's up, everybody? Though we're right here with Dewey Smokus, and I'm going to show you how to use checkboxes and radio buttons inside of Visual Basic 2010. Now, this is the fourth tutorial for Visual Basic, and I already have my UI set up for how it's going to work. Basically, all I have is a button and three checkboxes right now, and this is going to be my code, and the entire code revolves around the button because when the buttons click, it's going to execute this code. And I'm going to explain how this code works, and I'm going to just jump into the program. So if you look at the code, I have it saying if checkbox1.check equal true, then a message box is going to come up saying hello world, and that matches the text inside of the first checkbox in my UI user interface. So I'm gonna just run down the bare basics of this first part right here. So again, Visual Basic revolves around logic. So if checkbox1.check equal true, saying if the first checkbox hello world is checked, then a message box is going to come up saying hello world. Then we're going to end the if, so nothing after this is going to say if that is true. So then we can go ahead and write another if and say if checkbox2.check equal true, then a message box coming up is going to come up saying bite me, and then we're going to end that, and then the same thing for checkbox 3 with goodbye world. And then
Wait, can I say two things?
yes.
You should make a checkbox and a label, and when you press the checkbox, it changes the color of the label. I'm just saying that I'm messing around with labels right now, and one of the colors you can set it to is peach puff.
Okay.
What color that looks like? Peach puff.
Have fun with that. Anyway, back to the tutorial. So if we check hello world and hit the button, hello world is gonna come up, and same with bite me and goodbye world. Now, the interesting thing about this code is that we can check all three of these, and all three of them will come up. And we can select two of them in any order, it really doesn't matter, but that's the interesting thing about this code. Anyway, what we're going to actually do now is, because this video is way too short, I'm actually going to explain as a bonus how radio buttons work, and yes, and if you couldn't tell, what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to get all the forms out of the way so we can actually get into coding and show you how codes work. So we're going to just go ahead and delete all three of these checkboxes and keep that button there because that button's nice and cool. And we're just going to add in three radio buttons, 1, 2, 3, and set them up to the UI. And we can change the text of all of them, one saying hello world, and second one saying bite me, because I don't feel like I'm too lazy to change the text of the other ones, and the third one saying goodbye world. Okay, so now we have our three radio buttons that are perfectly aligned, or almost there. Now they're perfectly aligned, and we can go in and edit this code. So after we delete the checkboxes, Visual Basic down here in the errors is going to scream at us saying the checkboxes are not declared, meaning they do not exist. And the reason that is because we deleted them. So we're gonna actually just edit this code a little bit, and pretty much we can delete this entire code because we're not gonna be using this pretty much. So let's just delete this code and start freshly over and show you how this entire code is made because I'm special. So if radio button 1 dot checked equal true, then message box hello or world. So then we're going to use an else command, and if you watch my if then else command and password video, you'd understand how if then else's work. Then else radio button, my bad, else if radio button 2 dot checked equals true, then message box bite me. So then a second else, then if radio button 3 dot checked equal true, then message box goodbye world. Okay, so a quick rundown on this code. If the first radio button is checked, message box is going to come up saying hello world. If second radio button is checked, then it's going to say bite me, and it's going to say, okay, if the first one isn't checked, we're going to move on to check the second one, and we're just going to stop, well, it should stop, if it's checked, and display that. And if it's not checked, it's going to move on to the third one. And you can add however many radio buttons however many you want. Now the difference about the radio buttons is that one is always going to be checked on the screen. One always has to be checked, and if not, then nothing is really going to happen. And that's where the difference comes in between checkboxes. Because checkboxes you can have multiple of them selected, but radio buttons you can't. So let's just select hello world. Let's just say hello world, and then bite me for bite me, and then goodbye world for goodbye world. So now, my bad. We pretty much explained how the checkboxes and the radio buttons actually work, and I think that that's all I really have to cover. But if you want just one thing, if like when you run it, if none of the radio buttons are being checked when you run it, you can just make it so as soon as the form loads by double clicking on form 1 itself, you can type in radio button 1 or whatever one you want dot check equal true, and I'm pretty sure this should check it off. Yes, so that's going to check it off automatically when it loads up. So if you're having that problem, you can always just insert that code. And there's really nothing else that I have to explain about this. It's a pretty basic theory of how they work, but yeah, there are multiple millions and millions of other forms out there that I'm gonna have to explain, but I'm not going through all of them because I don't even get half of them. So this is that up here, and I'm signing out, and so is Dewey Spunkus. So I hope you liked this tutorial, and I hope you remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. Hugs and kisses.